Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I wanted to pop on today and share a little bit more about the work that I do. I know that so many of you are already over in my Monetize Your Magic group, but if you're not, you're invited to the party. So I will drop the link in the comments here. So whether you're watching live with me or you're watching on the replay, just let me know. Type a little hashtag replay in the comments here so that I can be of service and help you. I am Dr. Christina Fontana, if you don't know me, aka the Pharmacist Coach, and I help business owners to show up and shine, to expand your brilliance, to skyrocket your confidence, clients, and cash flow. So I see some people joining here with me. And so I wanted to introduce myself because I know there's a lot of new people in my world. And truly, the work that I do always combines energetic transformation as well as practical action steps. So we need to have both of those things, and we're going to be talking about that today, a little bit of the nerdy science about connection and gratitude and all of these things that will help your business to thrive in 2025. I did not expect that to rhyme, but it did. All right. So I wanted to start with a quick story. And this talk is all about connection. So connecting the dots, how relationship building can help your business to thrive. Because really, business, when you break down all of the social media and the things that we have to do, that the long to-do lists and accounting and finances and this and that, at the end of the day, business comes down to value exchange as well as connections and relationship building. So I want you to think about the fact that, like, if I said to you, hey, I want so and so's cousin to come redo your roof for you, you're going to be like, who's that person? Right? You would want to know who they are, make sure that they're not going to just take your money and run. That's a quick example. We need to know, like, and trust people in order to be able to move forward and invest with them. And that's exactly what I teach inside of all of my programs is how to create that deeper connection within yourself so that when you put your messaging out there, people are like, oh my God, that person gets me. But in order to do that, you have to first connect with yourself. And so we're going to be going through some concepts today that you can apply immediately into your business to start seeing results. So I want to start with a story about my experience of being burnt out because I know that a lot of people are experiencing that right now. And I want this to be not only an encouragement to you, but also to show you the pathway out of it. So, I was a pharmacist back in 2018. I always mess up the years. Like, was it 2018 or 2019? And I was working back to back shifts, 12-hour shifts. I couldn't go outside. I felt like a prisoner. I couldn't take a break because we didn't have breaks. I think that law has changed since then. And now pharmacists are actually allowed to take 30-minute lunch breaks. And I had debilitating neck pain. I had to wear a thermacare patch. I had anxiety. I started having panic attacks in early 2018. I was on Zoloft. There were just so many things that were pointing to the fact that this job was not in alignment with my soul. And it was literally starting to affect every part of my health. So by the time that I would come home after this long 12-hour shift, and I knew I had to do it again the next day, I had no energy. I had no capacity to connect with my spouse, to let alone connect with myself. And I had a little dog, Penny was little at the time, and my poor, Eric had to take care of her. And I was just completely depleted. So I share this with you because I want you to imagine that, we're wanting to scale our business, but if we don't have capacity to receive these new clients, more money, more cash flow, then we're going to be unconsciously blocking it. So I want you to think of this example, and I just used this the other day in my Rise and Receive membership. So imagine that you have a closet and there are just shirts and coats and hats and just it's like a mess in this closet. And you cannot stuff one more shirt or one more hanger in this closet. That is what burnout is. Burnout is that you are at such full capacity that you cannot handle any other stimulation. There's this polyvagal ladder that I always talk about, And essentially, Dr. Stephen Porges was a researcher that he studies the nervous system and how the nervous system is always looking for cues of safety, threat, or danger. We're always scanning the environment. We're doing this unconsciously. And what he found was that there's this ladder effect. When people are in what's called ventral vagal state, they feel safe, they're connected, they're engaged, and they're involved in work. They're able to actually be present and not be in fight or flight. As you go down that ladder, that's when we experience a lot of like anxiety, irritability, because something in our environment is triggering a threat. Maybe it's the way your boss says, "Hey, can I see you in my office?" Or it's a coworker or some other external thing that comes into your environment and it triggers something in you. And it could be something from a past experience. It could be triggering one of your patterns to come up because the body is always trying to protect us. So your body is always trying to keep you safe. And if you're in fight or flight, your prefrontal cortex can't think critically. If you're in fight or flight, you're going to feel defensive. You're going to be kind of like running around in your business and not knowing how to focus. So I talked about in my aligned and abundant trainings, focus, speed, power, momentum. Those are the four qualities of energy that will have you create that quantum leap in your business to wherever you're at income wise, to well above and beyond what you could ever imagine. And I just experienced this actually in my business. All of this to say, at the bottom of that ladder is burnout. So we're, so overwhelmed. It's like having too many tabs open in your computer, too many shirts and coats and all that stuff in the closet. Your body just shuts down. And so that is what burnout is. And I experienced it at that retail job until one day I was like, fuck it. Like, I just quit. Not saying you have to quit your job, but I'm going to be giving you different tools today to help you see how connection with yourself really unlocks a lot for your business. Abundance, opportunities, expansive ideas, divine downloads coming in. A lot of the things that I do in my business, I don't I don't think of this stuff. It's dropped in for me. And so imagine running your business with that level of access to this higher knowledge, this intuitive download that you can implement, and that's going to help you reach more people. So stay tuned for that. So here's the thing. As I started to do this deeper healing work, the nervous system work, looking at my subconscious programming, I realized that I had a lot of stuff in the closet, should I say. And I had a lot of trauma that was unresolved. I had a lot of this mindset blocks and fear that was getting in the way of me actually scaling my business. And so often the women that come to work with me say that their mind and their self-sabotage patterns are the biggest thing holding them back. It's not the strategy. It's not the fact that they don't have the knowledge. They're brilliant. It's this inner work that I'm talking about. And when you unlock this, it will create that quantum leap, like I said. But in order to get the quantum leap, you have to move. So many people get stuck and paralyzed along this polyvagal ladder, like I'm sharing about, with different nervous system responses. So fight, flight, freeze, or complete shutdown, where you're like avoiding everything in your business. It's all too much. And so that's why having a trauma informed coach is helpful, because I know, as an example, one of the things that I would recommend for someone who's in overwhelm or freeze is to do two things: to prioritize their energy and to not overwhelm themselves, because that's going to drive their nervous system into even more burnout. So as I went through this healing with myself, I then became informed and equipped with these tools to be able to help my clients. So this is exactly the work that I'm talking about that a typical business coach might not address. So these are the things that you would get when you come to work with me. So let's go into these three. I'm going to be teaching you three things today, and I'm just looking at my notes. So as you grow connection with yourself, you know yourself. And so your ideal client is probably 5, 10 steps behind you. So the more that you can speak directly to them, because you're so deeply connected to yourself, that's when they're going to be dropping into your DMs like, oh, she gets me, right? There's a totally different energy when you're educating your audience and like having a lot of inspirational posts versus actually dialing in to what is their pain point and then showing them a possibility. And I talk about this in my Confident Client Attraction program, pain points into possibility. How do we paint that picture for them so that they're like, oh man, she really gets me, and that's who I want to work with? That is what this energetic transformation work is going to help you do. When you go to put your messaging out there, when you go to have sales conversations or get a microphone and speak or show up on a Facebook Live, you get to be yourself. There's none of this freezing or inner tug of war or battling with yourself. It's this beautiful flow that just gets to come through you. Like if you notice, I'm not really looking at my notes much here. It's just coming through me because there's nothing in the way. So if you want to show up and be a powerful speaker or connect with these soul clients that are ready to work with you, this is how you do it, is that deep connection with yourself. So I shared a little bit about the science of connection here. I want to take you through a quick nervous system practice that you can do, because if we're in that fight or flight, freeze or shutdown, then again, it's very hard to be engaged and connected. And this is helpful whether you're at a 9 to 5 job or whether you're an entrepreneur. This is all going to help so that you're more present with yourself, so that the blood flow is up in this prefrontal cortex, so you can think critically, you can come up with strategies to scale your business, and there's so much more capacity. So in this exercise, we're taking those clothes out of the closet. So what I want you to do is just have your feet on the ground here with me. And I see one person peeking on here with me. So whoever's watching the replay, I know people are at work. That's cool. I'm here for that too. I'm going to be sharing this everywhere. And I want to hear from you. That's how I can be of service to you, is through commenting. So anyway, back to the exercise. So feeling your feet on the ground and just allowing your stomach to gently fall open. Maybe even putting your hand on your stomach. So instead of breathing up here, we're going to breathe into our belly. On the exhale, just let it go. And then on the inhale, putting your crown on. So what I want you to do is we're going to put your tongue to the roof of your mouth for 7 seconds. So I'm going to do this with you. Ready and go. Okay, letting that go. So what we're doing there is activating the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve that is responsible for applying a little bit of that brake, right? If like you're thinking of a car, sympathetic is, that racy energy, like going 90 miles an hour. So we're kind of just slowing up a little bit by allowing that activation of your vagus nerve. So rest and digest. Quick, simple exercise that you can do, or you can even honestly put your hand on your forehead for about a minute, bringing that blood flow back to the prefrontal cortex. Very simple. You can even do the tongue activation when you're talking to somebody, and they wouldn't know what you're doing. So that's really great. Okay, so the second point that I want to go through. So the first point was we need to connect with ourselves before we can connect with others. Second point is circulating your value. I want you to imagine that you're at a picnic and there are 3 different types of people at this picnic. The first type comes early, brings corn and soda and or pop wherever you're from, whatever part of the country you're from, you might call it pop or soda. And then they stay and they're like, how can I help you clean up? And all of that. That's a giver. Number 2 is that they come, they don't bring anything to this picnic. They eat all the food and then they ask for leftovers to go home with. That's a taker. And then the third type is a matcher. So if you brought them a bottle of wine to your picnic, then they would be like, oh, well, she did that for me, so that's what I'm going to give her for her picnic. That's called a matcher. So somebody that is going to match, you give them $50 for Christmas, they're going to give you that same thing for, so you're matching the energy. So I want you to think about what is the most successful of those 3. And I want you to type it here before I say the answer. I'm going to have some coffee here. So the most, and actually the least successful are the same. And you wouldn't think it. And I'll tell you why. So the giver is both the most successful, but can also be the least successful. Givers who deplete themselves, who don't have boundaries, are the least successful. Those are the people that are going to burn out very quickly. So that's why we want to look at some of these nervous system practices, things like setting boundaries. And I know it sounds easier said than done because there's a lot of angst that comes up, especially for people pleasers with setting boundaries. But I wanted to share that because studies have shown that leaders and businesses that circulate their wealth and give that value and appreciate their customers and clients and potential customers, those are the most successful. So taking that into your business, who do you need to appreciate? How can you give your love to your audience? Whether it's through liking someone's Facebook post and commenting and encouraging them, or sending a handwritten thank you, or gifting your clients a welcome gift. These are all very simple ways that you can start to give and circulate your wealth. So, no judgment, whether you're a giver, taker, matcher. This is one way to drive up results in your business. And then number three is appreciation. So I always say that appreciation is the frequency of love. So when you appreciate people, something goes off in their head that allows them to know that they're safe, that they can trust you. And I wanted to actually read this to you. So there's a science of appreciation. Gratitude activates the brain's reward system, creating more trust, engagement, and loyalty. So appreciation, I do this everywhere. I do it with the teachers at daycare. I do it with Eric. I do it with my clients, with potential clients. I lead with love. And when you lead your business with love, you will always be profitable. And it's from a genuine, authentic place. We're not doing to get, because when we do that, then there's always strings attached. And so give when that intuitive insight comes to you. And again, back to point number one about connecting with yourself, we need to be able to connect with our own body to feel that intuitive insight or download that comes in that says, reach out to that coach, send that thank you note to so and so. Because if we're so busy rushing around and we're disconnected, then we're not going to hear that intuitive voice that is telling us and guiding us the exact steps on what to do in our business. And I always say God is my CEO because that is how I lead my business. I get intuitive nudges to reach out to that potential client, to apply for that speaking engagement, to hire that coach. And I swear it doesn't lead me astray. That is how I've gotten to where I am today. And this is just the beginning. I am a full, faithful servant of God, and God tells me what to do, and I just do it. So this is an example, this Facebook Live. So tangible ways that you can lead with love. It kind of ties back into the second point about wealth circulation, but it's really prioritizing relationships and connections. So where are your dream clients? Where do they show up? What spaces and places are they already at? Is it in a Facebook group? Is it at a networking meeting? Is it in a meetup group like meetup.com? So I want you to start to get creative. That's the other thing that happens once you start doing this nervous system work. Your world opens up. And so you'll always see me posting about infinite possibilities. This is how. Because when we're in stress, we're in survival, there's only there's only a finite amount of possibilities that we see. And that's why we're stressed, because we feel stuck. We feel like we're at a plateau. We can't see the other options that are available because we're in that state. And so we need to align the energy first and regulate the nervous system in order to then see the possibilities, to have that prefrontal cortex come online and say, wow, look at all of these other opportunities out there. This also helps with rejection. So if you are in fight or flight, you're only going to see a certain amount of clients, potential clients. So if you get a no or you get a rejection, it's going to be like devastating to you because you think that that is your only option. when you open up, when you expand, when you elevate your energy, which by the way, this is exactly the work we do in my Rise and Receive membership, then you see possibilities everywhere. And this is the biggest breakthrough that a lot of my clients will see, is that they start attracting these incredible opportunities. And you'll see that I post this on my Facebook, and there's a reason why, because I want you to see what's possible. I'm not just sitting here bragging and being like, hey, look at me, this is what I do. I want you to see that this work actually leads to tangible speaking opportunities, connections, um, random money falling out of nowhere. My subconscious programming is I receive in expected and unexpected ways always. And every single day, it's like boom, boom, boom. So, this is what happens when you start to connect with yourself. This is the deeper transformation work that I do with my clients to help you skyrocket your confidence, clients, and cash flow. So, if this is something that sounds juicy and exciting and you're like, ooh, I really like this, and you're still on with me here and you're watching until the end, I want to do a couple things. Number one, I am, after this live, I'm going to be dropping a quick survey that it's a 2-minute survey. If you enjoyed this talk, if you want to give me some feedback, go ahead and fill it out. Like I said, super quick. And you are going to get my pivot to profit trainings, and you'll also get I have a 52-page ebook on burnout and more about these principles and practices here. So I'll drop that here. But if you know you're like, I'm ready to dive right in to work with Christina, with me, then fill out the waitlist application. I have a couple programs coming up that I'm really excited to share about. Right now, I have Rise and Receive. That's a monthly membership to help you elevate your energy to align with infinite abundance and opportunities, just like what we're talking about. So I'll drop some of those links here in the comments below. But I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, this Facebook Live. It's great to connect with you. And I'd love to hear, what are your takeaways? What are the things, the gems that you've extracted from this talk? What are you going to take into your business? Whether it's appreciating your customers, sending a welcome gift, sending a handwritten thank you. Maybe it's doing some of this work, this nervous system work. Your next action step could be claiming that free ebook. Whatever it is, I want to hear from you. So let me know, and I'll see you on the next Facebook Live. All right, bye.